Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining in. First course here on Name Your Career, the group, 3 ways smart people sabotage their career. 3 ways. There are 3 ways I see all the time. My name is Hamza Zaouali. I'm a career coach and I work with a lot of professionals in terms of their career improvement, enhancement. And these 3 things I'm going to talk to you about are always what sabotage most professional's career. I want to share them with you, but of course I'm not just going to tell you the things, I'm also going to tell you what to do about these things, okay? So here we begin. If you guys are ready, listen, if you are attending the live, I know this is the first live, this is a very tiny group, we just began on Facebook group, so be active as much as possible. Just say hi on the comments, just like the video, don't hesitate to share as I go along, but let's begin. So these 3 diseases actually affects even people that are the hardest workers. Even if you work really hard, you could feel that your career is stalling. You can feel that your career is not going, as fast as you want it. You can feel that others are progressing but not you. And I want to change this. I want to change this hopefully with this free course. So it affects you as well if you are a hard worker. Now, the first disease, the first thing that people do that really sabotage their career is that they are stuck in time. What do I mean by stuck in time? Now, this is very important because being stuck in time is usually being stuck in the present or in the past. Let me explain what I mean by the present. People don't have goals. So you see, if you don't have goals, for example, you're not projecting yourself towards the future and you're not going towards any direction. You just live the week as it is, you just live the month as it is, and it's not going to really help you because, after a while you realize that, well, if you're not working for your goals, you're probably working for someone else's goals. You're stuck in present. In fact, you're in the routine. You're completely unable to project yourself and to say that actually I'm going towards this direction. And therefore, you don't know actually if you're winning or losing in your career because there's no benchmark. You see, when you have a goal, when you say to yourself, okay, within this many months, years, I want to earn that much money or I want to be at this position or whatever, then, you have a benchmark. You can measure yourself based on the finish line, on the destination. But if you don't have that, then unfortunately you're working for someone else's goals and it doesn't help you because you're not on a straight path towards your goals. So that's number 1. Number 2 is when people are stuck in the past. I speak to so many individuals, professionals, smart people that are really smart. And when I ask them, okay, what kind of money you want to earn in, say, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, the amount of money is very little. I mean, it's just a slight increase in their salary. In fact, they are stuck as well in the past because you see, if they spend the last 5 years earning on average this much, then if you ask people, these kind of individuals, how much do you want to earn the next 2 years, it will likely be a small percentage of what they've already been earning. You see, they are stuck in the past. The other thing that I wanted to share with you is that obviously we've been saying that stuck in time means that you're not. You see, it's either the past, the present, or the future that's drawing you. You're either, the magnet of your life is either the past, the present, or the future. The gravity, the center of gravity, the point of reference is either the past, the present, or the future. With a lot of people, their past constitutes a benchmark of what they can achieve. So for example, if you've been earning, I don't know, $1,000 a month, then people in their wildest dreams might think, oh, maybe one day I can earn $2,000 a month. They make it aligned with what they feel is the norm. So what I would like to challenge you on is to disconnect from your past. if you're earning $1,000 a month, for example, nothing stops you, nothing could stop you from thinking, from having a goal to earn 10, 15, 50 $50,000 a month in like 6 months, 6 years, doesn't matter. You don't have to make it connected with your past. Your past is not the truth of your future. The past is in the past. And this is really, really important, okay? When you don't have a goal, you see, that's in the future, that's compelling enough for you to be attracted, to be almost obsessed by this goal, then you're stuck in the past or the present. A lot of people, they are stuck in the present because they have this routine, you know, they have a secure job and they're not wandering too much, and the company is looking after their succession planning, their training, etc., etc. So they stop thinking for themselves. They're stuck in the present. They're completely stuck in the present. After a few years, they realize, I never wanted to end up here. But slowly but surely, they are at a place where they don't necessarily want to be, or they're not progressing as fast as they want to be. So being stuck in time is very, very, very dangerous, okay? You want to think from the future. You want to travel towards the future and always think, hang on a minute, in order for me to earn that much, what do I need to do today? In order for me to be what I want to be in 2 years, 1 year, 6 months, 5 years, what do I need to do today? Does it make, I hope it makes sense. Please, if you are with us, just send us a comment, obviously. The other thing is that when you are stuck in time, you're not able to invest in yourself, because in order for you to invest in yourself, you've got to be drawn by your goals. A lot of people have goals, by the way. They're just not compelling enough. They're just not obsessed by these goals. So they have these dreams/goals and they put them on paper or not, but yeah, it changes all the time, and they're not really, serious about these goals. See, that's not what I'm calling a compelling future, a compelling vision. You see, that vision must be super obsessive, completely obsessive, okay? And that's really, really important. So essentially, when you have this kind of vision, you want to invest in yourself, because you know that in order for you to achieve this, you've got to invest in yourself today. You've got to invest in knowledge. You've got to invest in tools, in getting to know specific people, entering certain circles. It takes time, but you build momentum. If you do not invest in yourself, if you just hope that, well, you know, my employer is going to train me, or at school, you hope that, well, teachers are going to tell me what I should learn and what I should know. Well, that sucks big time, because you're developing a habit of being complacent. Today, if you ask the average professional, how many books do you read a year? That's in direct relation with your future, with your goal in the future. People would say, a book? Well, no, I don't read books. I don't have time. You see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. They're stuck in time. They're stuck in the present. They're stuck in the past, but they are absolutely not thinking from the future. And finally, you know, when you think from the future, when you think about your goals, and that's what obsesses you, you're always thinking about this. You're always, you know, working towards that. Even your personal image changes. The way you speak, the way you dress, the way you look changes, because that future is influencing more and more your present persona. It's influencing more and more the way you are today. You see, the future must be your center of gravity. It must be the benchmark, okay? And this is what I hope for you. Most individuals, I would say 90% of people, whether they admit it or not, they don't have that kind of obsessive goal that shapes their present. They might have goals, but if it doesn't shape your present, if it doesn't make you better, closer to your goal, what's the point? Wrong goal. It means you need to do something different with your goals. It's not obsessive enough. It's not compelling enough, okay? And worse is when you come from a certain background and you are limited in your thinking because you're thinking, well, for the past 5 years, I've earned that much. So hopefully, you know, I could earn a little bit more, 20% in 2 years' time. Well, that's limited belief. That's horrible, actually. Or when you come from a certain background, actually thrive in a certain environment where the salary level is that much, your mind doesn't think beyond that point. You accept that as your standard as well. That's being stuck in the past. That's using the past as the norm, as the standard. And that's extremely dangerous, because after 5-10 years, you're just going to say, well, you know, I didn't achieve as much as I would have wanted to, but that's on average what people do, what people expect to do. So be very, very careful about past, present, future. Your source of energy must be the future. It's got to be compelling enough. Work on your goals. If you don't have goals, you're condemned to work for someone else's goals, okay? Very important. The other thing that I wanted to share with you is really the difference between being proactive and reactive. When you are stuck in the present, you are reactive, completely reactive. Do this, do that. Oh, there's a training. Okay, I'll do the training. Oh, there's a phone call. I pick up the call. When you are proactive, you see, the power of being proactive is that you're working for your future. But beyond everything, remember, proactivity doesn't have instant gratification. We live in a world where we want to see results immediately. And when we are reactive, when we pick up a phone call, we see the results immediately. When we follow a training, well, that's the only thing I have now. So let me see the result in 1 week or in a short time, okay? Being reactive is very, very easy. Being proactive, doing things knowing that we're not going to get the results immediately. We're going to get the results perhaps in 1, 2, 3, 4 years. Like if you go through a certain degree, master's degree, or if you read books, etc., you know that your situation is not going to change immediately, but you are building the future. And that's very, very important. My question is this: in your current job right now, what's the percentage, what's the part of proactive activities that you do, and what's the part of reactive activities that you do? What is it? Look at your agenda, you look at your daily plan, and I want to ask you, is it just return this phone call, pick up that thing and reply to that email and, you know, do this, do that, which is really reactive? Or is it, no, actually, I'm actually building, you know, a pipeline of opportunities for the future. I've actually signed up for this and that because I know that if I, you know, hang around these kind of people, I am going to learn a lot of things and network with other people, etc., and this is going to open doors to me. You see, that's being proactive. You want to include proactive activities, in your everyday life, at least in your every week life, okay? Once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, you want to think about proactive. It's a little bit like exercising. You see, when you're stuck in the past, you think, well, I've always been this way. My family is this way. So, you know, I'm in line with that. And that's my center of gravity. That's my benchmark. So I'm okay. I'm not doing too bad, you know? Or you're stuck in present with your body or health, for example. You're like, oh, well, you know, I'm smoking right now. I've always been fine smoking, and I'm fine smoking now. So it's all good. There's no reason to change. But when you think proactively, you're actually preparing for the future. A lot of people, they go to the gym once, 3 times, 5 times, and then they find excuses to stop doing that. You know, they begin that proactive process, but they see that there's no instant gratification, so they find other excuses. Of course, they're not going to say, well, I tried it once or twice and I didn't build up the muscles, or I didn't lose weight, or whatever. But they're just going to give a different excuse. They're just going to say, well, you know, it's difficult to plan. It's difficult to find the time. It's difficult to whatever, okay? And this is really something you want to be careful about. People that succeed in all areas, not just career, even if it's your health, the way you eat is proactive, is for the future, because you aspire to a better future. You aspire to a better body in the future, to a healthier lifestyle in the future, to a better career in the future. And that's really what you want to do. Look at things that are super proactive, okay? So another element that I wanted to tell you, and this is the second disease that people have that really shoot themselves in the foot, where they really shoot themselves in the foot. This is, you know, the reason why people commit career suicide without even them knowing. It's ego. It's when your ego rules. Let me tell you, this is one of the most common disease in the workplace today. It's plaguing the workplace today. It's fascinating. Let me tell you something. You know, if you're thinking, well, I don't have much to learn, I'm convinced that I know a lot, or I'm convinced that I'm one of the best, you might be feeding your ego. You might be not allowing yourself developing into something much, much greater. Sometimes you try and help someone, but you know, I'm sure it happened to all of us. When you try and help someone and he's not receptive to it, you can see he's not doing well, but he's like, yeah, I know, yeah, okay, makes sense, yeah, okay, I'll do that, but they're not serious about this because their ego, you see, in order to learn something, you need to injure your ego. It's strange, eh? In order to learn something, you need to accept that you don't know, that you need help, and that's injuring your ego. That hurts. Being wrong, being not good enough hurts our ego. And you see, when you're protecting your ego, this is a big danger. Unfortunately, you stop learning the moment you say, well, I don't like reading books because, you know, I think I learn by doing, because no, look, you can learn a lot and you're thinking that you know enough, that you're doing the right thing, that you're on the straight path, that there's nothing better than what you're doing right now. That's a mistake. That's a huge mistake. Your ego cannot rule your perception, your life perception, your career perception. Number two is when you focus on your status. A lot of people, they try and help others, for example, only to be seen as positively by others. And that's, again, a disease that's from the ego. Okay, you're again trying to protect or just feed your ego, and that's very, very dangerous because people see right through it. They know this is hypocritical. They know this is not, you know, genuine. When you try and help others, when you know, you do things for fame. So, for example, you start working really hard when there's your manager, but behind your manager, you're not that much of a hard worker, or you know. All of these things, basically, you know, it's funny how our ego rules a lot of things. When we serve ourselves, you know, ourselves, not others, we don't actually develop a career to improve people's lives. We actually develop a career to serve ourselves. And this is where ego will not allow you to grow. Ego will tell you, oh, you know enough. Oh, she cannot teach you anything. She's less experienced than you. Look, if you allow him to teach you something now, it's gonna make you feel bad with the others. The others are gonna see you as, look, if you ask a question now, you're gonna look like you don't know, like you're an idiot. Ego is controlling these things. Be very, very careful. Everyone can teach us something. I learned tons of things from the people I work with. You know, my clients are fantastic because they are experts in their field. I am lucky enough to work with so many experts in their field. I help them with their job search, I help them with their career, but they're teaching me about their job. They're teaching me about their expertise, their world, their universe, and that's fascinating. I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, so be very much aware of your ego. Your ego will not allow you to grow. So think about it. If you've been saying to yourself, well, you know, I don't need to go through this training. I've got work to do. I don't need to read this book. I've got work to do. I know enough about the job. I'm doing well enough. That's your ego. That's not you talking. You're better than that. The third disease, and this is where I think I will shock a few people, is that unfortunately a lot of professionals nowadays are cowards. I mean cowards. I'm serious about this word. Why? Well, to be very frank with you, we have developed a society in a lot of countries and a lot of places. We've developed a society where hard work is not, is not really something that people are proud about. You know, when I was little, there was always these kids that's in class that were doing their homework, preparing for their exam, and obviously succeeding. And you know what? The other kids some other kids were actually bullying them. We're actually saying, well, you're like, I mean, what I'm trying to say is that we have a society today where if you work hard to succeed, if you are honest, if you're doing your best, okay, but seriously your best, you're criticized. You are criticized. So let me tell you, a lot of people don't want to work hard. It happened to me when I was a little, much younger as a teenager. I was having good marks, I was doing not too bad, but I was tired of having people, pointing at me and saying, oh, yeah, he's like good friend with the teacher. He's like, yeah, whatever. He's not like us. We have, we don't prepare things. We're not that studious, I was going through that kind of peer pressure and I gave in. I started having, not so good marks, and that sucks. The very truth of it is that the people that are not willing to do the hard work, to have the self-discipline, to do their homework, to read books, to go through pain, are cowards. Not the other way around. We develop a society where whoever is working well, whoever is working hard, if you spend your weekends reading books that could improve your life, you're not cool. And because you're not cool, that hurts, that perception of others, obviously hurts your ego. And because you're afraid, you don't do it. You're like, yeah, I'll go out with you today. Yeah, well, let's go. And you put on the side your projects, your goals, your dreams. You put them on the side, you leave them for later. That sucks. Remember, don't be a coward. Don't be afraid to be criticized. Don't be afraid to be pointed at. When you try to do the bare minimum to reduce pain, you know what? Of course it hurts. When you work hard, you have to wake up early, you have to do extra work after work, you have to read books, you have to deprive yourself from going out with your friends or something. It hurts. But it's not because it hurts that you should avoid it. Of course it's painful to say no, to stay at home and read books, but it's not because it hurts that you should avoid it. Please remember this, okay? It's very, very important. So what's very important to remember is that if you're a coward, you will not take responsibility for your own life, for your own success, for your own career. You won't. You won't, because you're afraid. Hey, what if I take responsibility and I start saying it's my fault if I'm not where I want to be? Well, that hurts. That hurts what? My ego. It hurts big time. So what I'm going to say instead is, well, it's other people's fault. It's the circumstances, society, it's the government. Stop it. That's being a coward, and that's below you. That's below you. The first act of courage is to say it's my fault. It's my fault. Recognize and take responsibility for where you are now. And that's very, very important. The other thing is, when you fear being wrong, you always fear injuring your ego. And that's where you get defensive. So when, for example, someone trying to teach you something or whatever, you try and debate with him, even if you're not actually trying to find the truth, actually. You're trying to prove that you're right. This is what we see in societies today when you see political debates. Oh, come on. None of them like any of each other's ideas. That's just because they want to prove that they're right. They're not looking for the truth. They're not looking for the betterment of society. They're just looking for the, you know, for the glory of their political party or of themselves, their ego. You see you see how this disease touches the entire society. It touches your career big time, because when you fear injuring your ego, you stop learning. You get defensive. Yeah, I know. So you receive a criticism. You say, hey, did you see your email? It wasn't sent with this or that. Wow, did you see yours? You can talk, right? Well, that's not good. That's not good. You just, I mean, this is not you talking. This is your ego. And you're just afraid of being painfully wrong. Don't be a coward. Accept pain. Accept the pain of self-discipline. Stop giving yourself excuses. Take responsibility. Of course, you don't want to fall into this. Very, very important. So keep this in mind, please. Keep this in mind, because I think you deserved better. So here's a question for you. Are you stuck in time? Is your future drawing your career? Is your plans, your goals drawing your career? Are they the ones that are pulling your career forward? Or are you stuck in time? Are you stuck in the past? Are you stuck in present? Are you serving your ego? Are you serving your ego? Is your status more important? Is what people say about you more important? Are you not able to learn as much because you're afraid that people would laugh at you? You know, what would happen if someone see you reading a book about a specific topic? He would be like, whoa, okay, you're reading books. Sorry, mister. Right, so right there, you're worried about the status. Remember, every successful people was criticized. It's just part of the recipe to be successful. You're gonna be criticized, but you want to be courageous, not a coward. You don't want to back down from that. You want to say, no, I'm gonna stay on the course. Yes, you're gonna laugh at me. Yes, you're gonna point at me and you're gonna say this and you're gonna say that, but I'm gonna take responsibility for my life. That takes courage. And I hope you're going to take this into consideration as well. If you have any of these diseases, your career is not going to go as fast as you want. Your career is going to be, you know, it's like you're dragging dead weight. It's like you're slowing down. It's like you're driving a Ferrari on first gear. You're the Ferrari. Stop driving it on first gear. Just release the engine. Release your potential. Start thinking about a goal that obsesses you and keep thinking about it. Write it down. And every time along the way where you feel upset, you know, you feel belittled, you feel pointed at, you feel, you know, defensive, ask yourself, is this your ego talking? If you need self-discipline, if you need to do certain things every day that are proactive, but you're not doing them, this is how people get to procrastinate, by the way. They procrastinate not because, you know, they anything then other than they are afraid of the pain caused by self-discipline. Of course, if I say to you, oh, we're going to go out running every day, an hour before running, you're going to feel like, oh, this is going to be so painful. And this is how people are cowards. Anything that's painful, they're just going to try and avoid it. That's our natural predisposal to survive in nature. But our brain here is not here for us to succeed. It's here to maintain us in, you know, alive. So be very, very careful. If you're just running away from self-discipline, from pain, then ask yourself, is this really sustainable? If I do this, multiply by 10 years, where am I going to be? You know, the universe is basically, you know, has different rules, different, you know, what's fascinating is when the universe was created, it was created with laws. And success abides by laws. If you want to be successful and move faster than anyone else, then you've got to start thinking, hang on a minute, I need to understand the laws, because I can't go against the laws. I can't go against the laws of the universe. It's just the way it's been created, like gravity, like all of these physical laws, but you also have success laws. Okay, well, what do I mean by success laws? Well, I'm going to share with you some universal laws of success. And this is very, very important because they apply to anything and anyone. And it doesn't matter, they could be used to good or bad. Okay, I'm going to share this with you, and then that will be it for today. The first law is that what you practice, you become good at. So if you practice finding excuses, justification, procrastinating, if you practice doing that, you will become good at that. If you practice self-discipline, if you practice doing the things that you need to do proactively every day, every week, you will become good at that too. You will be mastering your ego more and more. You will become good. What you practice, you become good at. Law number 2, what you do not use, you lose. You know, if I attach my arm here for like 3 weeks, after 3 weeks, I will find it hard to use it. You see, the only reason we are creative is that we have the possibility to apply our creativity. The only reason we are ambitious is that we use our ambition. You see, if whatever you do not use, you lose. And this is really important. So if you do not use self-discipline, you're going to lose it. If you do not use ambition, if you do not make plans, projects, goals, you're going to lose that ability to project yourself in the future as well, and so on and so forth. So you've got to keep in mind this law. Whatever you use, you actually become better at. But whatever you do not use, you lose. If you don't use your body, well, your muscles are going to be, smaller and smaller, and you're not going to get the best of your body. That's just how the universe works, okay? And the question I have for you is not, if not now, when? When are you going to say, look, I'm going to project myself in the future. From now on, everything that I'm going to do is based on my future. Number 2, I'm going to actually be very aware of anything that could be ego-driven. If I'm defensive, if I'm not receiving criticism, if I'm afraid of what people would say about me, that's ego. You're worried about injuring your ego. And of course, I'm not going to be a coward. If people are going to point at me, you can say, oh, ha, 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 you're going to do this. Or, I have a client of mine, she decided to set up a business, and then she said, okay, I'm going to do some videos, but I'm worried, Hamza, that people would say that, well, I'm kind of showing off. And I didn't tell her, hey, yeah, no, don't worry, people are not going to do that. They're going to do that. Of course they're going to do that. But you've got to be courageous. It's not because you hurt that you should not do it. Don't be a coward. Don't be a coward. Okay? Very, very important. So the other, and I will change, I will finish almost with this slide. I think there's a couple of slides and we're done, guys. So thank you so much, by the way, for sticking around. But if you ask people who wants change, everyone is going to raise his hands. Yeah, I want change. I want change. If you want people who wants to change, no one is going to raise his hands. Don't be these people. Change it starts with you. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. If you change your center of gravity, it becomes your future. If you say to yourself, hang on, ego cannot rule my perception, my decisions. And hang on a minute, I cannot be a coward. I cannot run away from, oh, I don't feel like it today, so I'm not going to do this or that. Coward. You're afraid because you don't feel like it, so it hurts. Don't be a coward. Don't do that. And I guarantee you, whatever you do and practice, you will become better and better at. It will become easier and easier. You will build momentum. And that's fascinating. When you are building momentum, it's hard. It's like a plane that's taken off. Gravity is pulling it down. But when you reach the sky, when you are gliding in the sky, when you are, you know, just enjoying, this is where momentum has been built and you are, you know, literally flying. That's what I want for you in your career. I hope this has been helpful. For more videos, just go to nameyourcareer.com. nameyourcareer.com. And again, my name is Hamza Zaouali, and I'm a career coach. I'm a business coach, and I will see you hopefully next week for another free course. Bye-bye.